Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a recipe for you to make one single perfect chocolate chip cookie. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. I love doing single serving recipes over here on this channel. So if you are someone who is just cooking for yourself or maybe you and one other person, be sure to hit subscribe because there's lots more where this came from. All right, you guys. The single serve cookie, one chocolate chip cookie. I know what you're thinking. Why? Why not just make a regular recipe of cookies and just bake one and put the rest in the freezer? First of all, maybe people out there don't have a lot of freezer space. Maybe you just have a couple of tablespoons of butter to use up and you just want to do that. I don't know. Also, maybe you're like me and you cannot be trusted with 24 cookie dough balls in your freezer, okay? I like to be able to portion control myself when I'm in the mood for something sweet and I just want one cookie. There are so many instances where you just need one. So I thought I would share this recipe with you in case you also feel the same way. I will say there are no eggs in this recipe because testing it and trying to get a cookie with a small part of an egg just doesn't work. So we've developed this to be egg-free. Also today, I will be using my oven in a traditional sort of manner, but you could adapt this for an air fryer. I haven't done that, but I have baked cookies in the air fryer before, so I know you can do this in the air fryer as well if you don't want to mess with heating up your oven and all that. So with that long intro and tons of disclaimers, let's get right into this. A single serve chocolate chip cookie. All right, here's our ingredient list, and it's pretty much basically the same as when you're making a larger batch of cookies. Sugar, flour, we've got some vanilla extract, chocolate chips, but you could swap these out for like cinnamon chips, you could swap them out for walnuts, whatever you have laying around. Your mix-in can be customized, but I'm making a chocolate chip cookie. We have baking powder, salt, we have 1 tablespoon of butter, sugar, I already said sugar, and a little teensy weensy bit of milk. I will admit this is going to be a pretty short video because this is not going to take a lot of time to put together, but I will leave the full recipe with all of the amounts down below. What I like to do when I develop a recipe like this, I put it on a little paper and then I put it on my refrigerator with a magnet until I've done it enough times that it's up here. So maybe throw a Post-it on your refrigerator with this recipe, but I will leave it down below. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to soften 1 tablespoon of butter. I could have left this on the counter, but I didn't, so I'm gonna pop it in the microwave for a few seconds. It can be all melty, it's not a big deal. I will say this is salted butter because I do not use unsalted butter and I will not be elaborating further. All right, there's our butter. To this, we are going to add 1/2 tablespoon of milk. We are also going to throw in a little bit of vanilla. I'm not gonna measure this. I'm just gonna put a few little drops in there of vanilla extract. I'm also using 1 tablespoon of sugar. You could also use brown sugar if you wanted to. That also worked okay. This is just what I had. So I am using regular white sugar. Little stir. All right, next we are going to add our flour and we're gonna throw 3 tablespoons of flour in. We're also gonna throw in a pinch of salt, just a little teeny bit, and also about 1/8 teaspoon of baking powder. And I know that's like a ridiculous amount. Like even my little set of scoops here only goes to 1/4 teaspoon, but just eyeball it. And if you need to, it's like a pinch, okay? Just a pinch. Now we're gonna mix all that. And look, it's cookie dough. Now we're gonna add our chocolate chips. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in like 1/2 tablespoon of chocolate chips. That seems perfect to me. Make sure they're well dispersed. And of course, because we don't have that egg in here, she's a little loose, right? It's not quite as put together. So we are going to chill this. I'm just like lumping it in the center here. And I'm gonna pop this in the freezer while I preheat my oven. And just like basically every standard chocolate chip cookie, we are going to preheat the oven for 375 degrees. All right, the oven is fully preheated. Here's our cookie. It's a little firm now. You could split this into 2 smaller cookies. However, I want like a big, like coffee house style cookie. So I'm just gonna roll it into a ball. All right, I do have this little tiny Pampered Chef stone. If you watch me, you know I use stoneware most of the time. I do love a stone, so I do most of my baking on stones. But of course, use parchment paper on a cookie sheet, use whatever. But now we're going to bake it just like a regular old cookie. It depends on how frozen it is. If you left it in your freezer for a long time, it's gonna take a little longer, anywhere from like 10 to 13 minutes. Also, it's a pretty large cookie, so keep that in mind. But I do want it to be nice and golden brown. So let's put it in the oven. All right, 13 minutes later. Look at this perfect little cookie. I know I have to let it cool a little bit. We're gonna have a glass of milk and we're gonna pretend we got this at a fancy little bakery instead of just my kitchen. All right, now the taste test. First of all, it looks like a cookie. And of course, it's not going to be exactly like your classic Nestle Toll House because, you know, it doesn't have the egg, you know. But I feel that this is a very good, just a classic, good fluffy cookie. Perfection. This is absolutely the perfect sweet treat. Normally, you know, you might do this after dinner if you just want one cookie. Personally, I love an afternoon treatski. This actually, I would prefer it if it was an espresso with a little cookie on the side. That's perfect. Perfect tea time. All right, you guys, that was my single serving chocolate chip cookie. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you have other recipes in mind that you would like to see me develop into a single serving, dessert or otherwise, let me know in the comments down below. And if I get a lot of interest, then maybe I'll look through some of my other recipes and try to make them into single servings. Because I know, like I said before, there's lots of reasons why you might want to make just one. And I'm glad to do it for you. Of course, hit subscribe if you haven't already and come back for more content like this. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.